Okay, just so I don't forget. Okay, hi. Do you guys want to see a cool new piece that I did? Where did it go? I'm gonna go ahead and mute you. There we go. Okay, I picked up all the colors of the liquid Sculpey and made like this glossy blue swirly baby in this element, and I love it. It's so cute. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know. Okay, welcome. Hi. We have a bunch of new faces, like so many. Hi, welcome. I'm so excited that you guys are here. If you have to duck out early or if your connection is bad or literally whatever, I'm recording this and I will upload it onto our private playlist probably in the morning because it takes a while to download from Zoom, and so you guys can watch it. But I'm just going to kind of walk you through, and this will be in real time because I don't have anything prepped, how I do ombre, because it is one of my favorites. I am obsessed with it. And hopefully I can save you guys some mistakes of wasting a shit ton of clay like I did when I first started this technique. So I wish I had a pair that I could show you the look, but every time I list them for sale, everyone buys them. So I don't have any left in the studio. I haven't made any for this upcoming restock. I'm gonna take these earrings out because I've been wearing them all day. But that's okay. It's really quick to make. It just doesn't make a lot. So what I have learned is that since it is relatively fast to make, I work in a lot smaller sections than I normally do. So if you guys have watched the watercolor technique, you probably saw how much that was able to make, especially when you're layering on that top piece onto a base. You're able to, make a slab like literally this long, this big, and that can get you a lot of pieces. But in ombre, I think I tried to make that as a goal, to make an ombre slab that size, but it's just really difficult. And so I have just determined that if you work in smaller sections, you're going to be more pleased with your results and get ultimately more usable ombre pieces if you work in smaller sections. So that's what we're going to do today. But I need to kind of wipe down my machine a little bit because I can't tell you the last time that I cleaned it. I will show you a cool feature of the Lucy Clay machine. If you guys are like in the serious clay realm, this might be something that you guys want to invest in, but it is not cheap. So I did want to answer a quick question that I saw in Patreon today. I had it typed up and then I had a really busy day today, so I wasn't able to finish answering. But someone asked, and I don't think she's here. Someone asked if in my opinion, if I thought you could get away with not having a clay roller even when you're just getting started. And there are so many tools that I think are unnecessary when you're just getting started, that if you keep it simple and if you work with what you've got, you can honestly go so far. In my personal opinion, a clay roller is not one of those tools that you should skip on. I'm not saying you have to buy a Lucy. A Lucy is like $700. Don't go out and get that. I'm not even saying you need an Atlas, which is like, depending on the market value right now because of how Amazon is, it's anywhere between $50 and $80. But there is a craft roller that you can get at Michael's. It's like $30. It's not the best. Like it's not what I would use in my grade, my professional grade. I'm gonna mute you guys. Ooh, just so there's not feedback. but it will save your wrist, and it will save you so much time, and it will help you create consistent thickness and depth in every single component you ever make. And that to me is crucial, because the thickness of your piece changes your baking time, it changes the durability, it changes what techniques you can do, it changes what jump rings you can put on your piece. If it's too thick and it doesn't fit a certain size jump ring, it could like screw up an entire design. And I just think having consistent depth is one of the most professional things that you can do. So I think having a roller that helps you create that consistency from day one, like, can set you apart from a lot of people. So that's my opinion. So I'm just in the camp of, you need a roller of some kind that is a machine from the beginning. So a cool feature of the Lucy clay is that you can take off the blade guards and clean them. So mine aren't terribly dirty. I clean mine often because it's so easy to clean. But when you're working with a new color, or you're going to go to a white or even just a lighter color, or maybe you've just been working with glitter, giving your machine a really good wipe down. I just have a whole container of baby wipes sitting on my desk, is absolutely necessary. It just avoids cross-contamination. There's nothing worse than like working with a light tan or a white, and then you get this like streak of like muddy gray, brown, black because of your scraps that are left over in your blades. So clean your machines. Lucy makes it super easy to do that. Okay, so I'm just gonna wipe this down. I'm gonna show you an ombre. I typically do black and white, honestly, because it's so beautiful. I'm gonna do some actually, I'm just in the mood for brighter colors tonight. I don't know why. So I'm gonna pick maybe like a minty color and a pink or orange or something, maybe like a peachy color. So it might end up where we're gonna make some custom colors tonight, and then we're gonna ombre effect them. How does that sound? Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Hi, friends. I see that you're all here. You guys, everyone's good? Okay. I also would have background music, but I can't have it because I upload it to YouTube later and they're going to take my videos down. So we're just going to have to sit in awkward silence. Hi, Cindy.
Ability to control various aspects of the nervous system.
I'm going to mute you guys when you come on. If you guys have a question or need to say anything, you can always unmute yourself, but it'll just help with the feedback. Okay, friends, now that my machine is clean, I'm going to drink some wine. Hello. Can you pronounce your name for me, baby? Is it Isa? Hello. You can unmute yourself and introduce yourself. Yes. Oh, good. I got it right. Isa. Hi, welcome. I love to have you. Okay, let's look at my clay. So I store my clay. So let me show you this cool thing. Oh, video's off. We're in the car. Thanks. Oh, guys, I have my pajama pants on. No, you're totally fine. Yay, ombre. Okay, I want to show you guys this. I might make you guys car sick for just a second. This table is from IKEA. It was like $25. And it's on wheels, and it's just like this square table, and I have my roller on top of it. It's like 3M Velcro to the top of this, and since there's a shelf underneath, this is where I keep all of my clay. Well, there's more over here, but my colorful clay I keep over here. So I have 2 containers. You can find them at Michael's in the scrapbook section, and I think I linked them on that doc. These are the perfect containers for clay. Oh, I'm gonna mute you, Simone. There we go. Because it's like the perfect height for these little bricks of clay, and I have mine Roy G. Biv organized, okay? Okay, so let's see what we're gonna work with. I think for the first time, just because I'm making ombre, I'm gonna do a color just out of the box and not customize a color, just because we're making a new look anyways. So what if we're gonna do Soufflé Sea Glass for sure as one, and then we're gonna do, I'm like looking at my already open clay. We could do sea glass and white, like that might be cool. Or what if we do sea glass and corn flour? I don't know if that's gonna be enough. So I just wanna kind of walk you through also how I look at color. So I'm just holding up blocks of clay. I for sure, like I'm really feeling sea glass. So I'm just holding it up next to other colors to see if I like the look. I think sea glass and corn flour are really beautiful together. I don't think they would make enough of a look for ombre. So I'm not gonna do that. We could do, what is this one? Raspberry. That's like a really, really bright pink. So we could do two like completely different contrasting looks. We could do sea glass and white. We also have turnip. Turnip is a good one. Sea glass and turnip. So I think I'm gonna do sea glass and white. And then because I want to show you two different ways of doing this tonight. So we'll do, because you can do one color or you can do three. And I also want to show you if your ombre gets a little too light or too bright, how you can correct it. Okay, so we're gonna do two souffle colors. We're gonna do sea glass and we're gonna do igloo, which is their white. Now, I used to do ombre with Primo, Sculpey Primo, and it's the worst. Primo, it's just so oily. Like it's so oily. So I've got two of the same size. It's a double bar and a double bar. This is reading more blue on the screen, but it is turquoise basically. So I'm going to first get you in a position where you can see a little bit better. Sorry that it's like, let me see if my other light, let me get better or worse. You're just like right into my lap here. Hi, friends. Okay, well, this is just what we're gonna do. Okay, so I have my acrylic roller. I'm going to just give it like a schmoosh and kind of start to get it a little bit ready to condition. I am going to precondition these colors separately so they're ready to go. They're not gonna need it that much. It's really warm here and this clay is pretty fresh, so I'm not that worried about it. Just gonna check my rollers again just to make sure that they are clean. Okay. Jiminy crickets. So I'm gonna start with my white because I have a really fresh, clean roller now, and I don't want my white to get dirty. So I'm just going to run my clay through my machine. My Lucy also has been acting up lately. They're actually sending me a new one, so ignore what's happening over here. This isn't normal. But once we get going, it'll be fine. And I literally might have to get my atlas and show you. This is so silly. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a few grazes through the machine to kind of condition up And remember, conditioned clay is conditioned when it stops cracking along the seam. We always put clay seam side down so that we don't give it any air bubbles. I'm pressing the seam so we can prevent air bubbles. Air bubbles, air bubbles, air bubbles is what we're trying to prevent. Okay, so literally it didn't need that much. So I'm gonna make my sea glass a little bit thinner because it needs to go through my machine. Normally you're Lucy, you can put like an entire bar of clay in here and it will take it. Mine's just being really weird right now. So ignore it. Random question, but does Igloo bake to crisp white or off-white? It's a crisp white. So this, see if you can tell. That one's glossed. This one's unfinished. This is baked Igloo, the white part of this. So see if I can show you. It's kind of hard to tell, but like, see how close that is? It's white. And Primo white is pretty on white too. It's just a completely different consistency. Yeah, pretty white. Okay, so now that I have my pieces that I'm going to use for my 2-color ombre, let's get it together. Okay, so we have sea glass and we have white. So we're gonna take one of our colors and now we're going to roll it into a ball. So I'm just folding it and I'm pressing along the seams so I can avoid as many air bubbles as possible. So I'm just like warming it up in my hands. This is also serving as a condition. Since I know that we have to do this step is why I didn't roll it through the machine like a lot, because this action is considered conditioning as well. And this is what we need to get it ready to be in the shape to ombre it properly. So this ball, I honestly might do even half of this ball to do 2 separate sections. So do you see the size of this? This was 2 bars of sea glass. So I think I'm gonna chop this in half because like I said at the beginning, I like to do, and so look at that. Because of all of that smishing, there's not a single air bubble in this whole ball. How nice is that? So I'm just gonna kind of like shape this one. What I was saying earlier, if you missed it, I like to work in really small slabs for ombre. It's really difficult to get a big size slab. And so work in small sections. It's totally fine. Okay, so now that I have a ball for my sea glass, we're gonna make this into a teardrop shape. And all we have to do for that is literally just like kind of funnel our hands. You see how it's starting to become a teardrop shape? Kind of firm its booty a little bit, and we're going to be left with this shape. We're going to set that aside. I'm going to wipe off my hands because I have teal residue on here, even if you can't see it, and it will leave a teal finish on my white, beautiful white clay if I don't clean off my hands. Okay. So, baby wipes are your friend. Sip of wine. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my white and I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm pressing to prevent any air bubbles. I'm folding and I'm pressing along each seam. Remember my trick? Smack them air bubbles out. Fold it again. Press those air bubbles out. Fold it again. Okay, so now we're gonna kind of get into our ball shape. Conditioning, tossing it. I'm just like squeezing it slightly. This is just to kind of push and smush the clay together to prevent any air bubbles. I'm gonna get this into a good round shape, and then I'm gonna slice it in half so that my sizes match. Gorgeous. Okay. All right, so roll this size into a ball. I'm like pressing pretty firmly. Like, I'm not trying to distort it yet, but I'm just making sure that there's no air bubbles in here. Okay, so now I'm gonna funnel my hands and I'm gonna make a similar size teardrop to my sea glass, okay? So now what we're gonna do is place these opposite. So booty to top, booty to top. And we're just gonna kind of press them gently together like this. I'm kind of pressing down on the tops like this. And I'm kind of like pulling slightly. They're still just like next to each other. And then I'm going to take my roller and just like gently, I don't have to apply a lot of pressure. I'm just rolling it a little bit. Like just a little bit. So now what I have going through the machine looks like this, okay? So the rule of thumb for ombre is what we're doing. You guys know what ombre is, right? It's a color fade into another color. And typically to get the most like contrasting look, you choose a dark or a bright color with a light color, right? So we have sea glass, which is a turquoisey green, and white. If we used sea glass and olive green, it would still fade into each other, but it would just be really, really hard to tell where that fade is. And I like a nice, strong ombre. So with ombre, we're not marbling and we're not making a new color. We're blending two separate colors. So the entire concept is to keep this color on this side and this color on this side, but where they meet in the middle for them to like blend, right? So the only way we do that is by continuing to put this chunk of clay into the roller in the same direction the entire time. If we fold it, we're putting it in the same direction. If we fold it and turn it, it's going to smear this color into here instead of pulling the color apart, okay? So we have our piece like this. We're going to put it into the machine like this, vertical, skinny side. So I'm gonna roll. Doesn't look like anything, just meshing those. I'm going to fold it. What I'm gonna do when I fold this is I'm gonna make sure as much as I can to keep the teal side, like I don't wanna fold it like this, right? Where the teal now is on top of the white. Like this would defeat our purpose. I'm gonna try to keep my lines lined up as much as possible. It's going to overlap. That's what's going to give you your fade effect. You just don't want to overlap it entirely too much. You see? So this is what it looks like on both sides. I'm going to put it in the machine vertical again. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I like the effect. So fold and push. Fold and push. Okay, so what you can begin to see is just a smidge of color blending is happening on this border. Now, what I might see already is that there's some sea glass underneath this white. It's kind of hard for you to tell, but it is there. So there is going to be some sea glass popping up here in just a little bit. But if I want more, all I would need to do is just a smidge folding it where the sea glass comes up into the white if I'm wanting more sea glass to pull this way. I don't know that yet, so I'm going to continue to fold pretty evenly and fold and so we're getting somewhere. Fold and smush. See, look, it's happening. It's happening. Folding. Look. So beautiful. Look. So remember to fold. Okay, so here's a thing. What's going to happen since we're folding the same direction, is our piece is going to get wider and wider and skinnier and skinnier. And what you'll notice is like, well, what can I cut out of this? It's so thin. So what we're going to need to do is make this piece go back up to be more of a square or rectangle instead of a long skinny. So I folded it, and I'm literally going to like smush some of this sea glass in back into itself, and make sure my hands are clean, and smush some of this white to go back into itself, right? So like I have like kind of this smush piece. Looks silly, don't worry about it, it's okay. Smush, smush, smush. Smushy, smush, smush. This is going to help the piece like get longer and not skinnier, if that makes any sense. So then we push it back in here, and what I'm going to try to do is kind of just like not let it be willy-nilly. I want it to go up and not out. Okay. All right. So you're going to have like these happen. It's totally fine. We're just going to fold it, and I'm going to kind of like smush this guy back into here. Give sea glass some more sea glass, and then the white, some more white. Okay. And then we're going to roll him back in the same direction that we have been. Look at this, friends. Look at that. Okay. So I'm seeing a couple, like just a little bit of bubbles. So you guys know my technique that I like getting bubbles out. I just slightly pull. So where the color is solid, I just kind of slightly tug where that bubble is and like smush it a little bit with my finger, and it helps get it out. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of tug in a couple of sections. So look, our back is kind of starting to marble. It's going to happen, doesn't matter. This is our front, it's okay. So we're going to fold, pop out those air bubbles. I'm going to smush some of this sea glass back in. So I want to continue to maintain the integrity of the shape, and kind of smush this together inside of here and roll. Look, friends, like we're getting somewhere. Okay, so now what could happen, and I mean, I'm still going to do a couple of rolls, but I just want to kind of show you where I might troubleshoot some areas, is if I only had like this much white, like if none of this white were here, I might realize, oh, this, like, I'm not going to have enough lightness, or I'm not going to have enough sea glass, I'm not going to have enough color to make this effect that I want. You can literally take off some of your white, and when you fold this, like, just add it to the side here, and it's going to smush some white into where, like, into where your white is to add on to that color. Or get some sea glass, or, you know, or whatever your color element is, and add it there too. And because you're rolling it still, it's going to continue to blend in and just add some more depth wherever you're needing it. So I'm just going to continue to kind of smush. So here's what we've got going into the machine. Again, up, up always, or we're going to compromise the ombre effect. Roll. We're getting there. Fold. See one little bubble. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at this. Like, it's hard even to show on camera, but like it is so beautiful. So if I were to stop here, I just want to show you like how cool this piece would truly be. Make sure this cutter's clean. So like you guys get to decide, right, where you stop. Like, look at how cool that element would be. And so then you could do a white top to continue like that ombre effect, or do your sea glass top to just like do this kind of split complementary design. But do you see what I mean? Where when you're working in small sections, like I might literally only be able to get one pair from this entire slab because of where you need to cut to make ombre. So what I like to do on my ombre designs, and actually one of the only ways I've done an ombre is I've had this cutter. So I like place this cutter here. And then I have my top, so I have a circle white, and then I do dangles down here to add onto this donut shape to get more of this color. So I can still only do two components on one, or two pair on one piece, but since I'm adding on to components, I get to use more of that color. Cool? So I'm gonna do this just a couple more times and see, and then we're gonna do a tri-color ombre. Any questions so far? Smush this. Oh, Eliza, you tried this yesterday? Yeah. Yeah. It's the smushing that helps you get a more usable space. Because I would have, at this point, if I hadn't smushed, I would have probably something this wide, but like this long. And it's just really hard because then the ombre effect's going this way. So you would just have to use really, really small components to even see the ombre effect. And it gets really annoying. And this is why I also like using just smaller sections of clay. It's annoying because you can't just do a huge big slab of it. But in order to get a consistent ombre look in multiple pairs, this is how I have found it to be the most consistent. Yeah, I need longer and bigger cutters. Yep. Yeah, bigger surface area shows your ombre more for sure. Okay, so I'm kind of like, smushing in my slab so it stays a nice shape. Kind of holding it a little bit with my fingers so it doesn't widen out and it goes up. And just gonna keep doing the ombre. The smushing does create air bubbles. And so like if you're almost to the end, if you're like maybe just one more pass, maybe don't smush it because it could compromise the slab where you want to cut. So that is just such a nice fade. So that's a 2-color ombre, sea glass and white. So now let's get crazy. And let's do, since I already have these ready, let's do a sea glass white, and then let's throw a raspberry in the middle. Let's just be wild and see what these 3 colors are gonna be. And here's the cool part. If you make an ombre and like it stops having the ombre effect, like just blend your colors. Typically you've picked colors that are gonna make a really nice new color for you. Totally fine. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut off one section of a raspberry brick since I used smaller sections for my sea glass. And roll this out a little bit on my roller. Condition this raspberry on its own. I'll also show you what it's like when you mess up the ombre if you guys need to see it messed up. Okay, so this one was a little less fresh. Over time, you'll be able to just pick up a piece of clay and know, like, this is, fresh clay, or this is a little bit older clay. Your fingers will just be able to tell the difference, and it'll be creepy, but you'll be a magic clay queen at that point. Congratulations. Okay. This raspberry, I was telling you guys on my color theory video, that bright colors I typically will blend with souffle latte or souffle concrete. Raspberry is really good in concrete. Like it makes like a dusty rose. So pretty. Okay, I think this piece is almost here. And then some of you were also asking for like kind of real-time cutting elements. And so since we have these ombres out already, I'll go ahead and cut some shapes out of it and show you like everything I would do. Okay. So remember, I'm going to take my piece, fold it along the seams, push out the air bubbles, fold it again, Like really press into here, work those arm muscles, and try to push out those air bubbles as best you can. So then we make our ball, and then we make our teardrop. Boom. So I have my other balls over here. Let me wipe my hands clean. Okay, we're gonna get this one. So we're gonna do, oh, my office chair is just from Amazon. It's okay. I love it. It's really comfortable. I've had it for like 4 years. It's lasted a long time. But with my IKEA chairs, the armrest don't fit underneath the chairs, even though I've lowered my chair. So I'm actually going to get a new chair. IKEA has some new ones that are super comfy, but they are, of course, out of stock right now. So when those get here, I'm going to get that one. Can you put shimmery powdered loose eyeshadow in clay? Yes, 100%. That's basically like using mica powder. It's like what mica powder is. Yes, use it. Test it because, yeah, Cindy. You may need to seal it after, like if you're just like putting it over the top and not putting, mixing it in with your clay. So like try a couple different variations. But if you do need to seal it, I listed the polyurethane that I use in the resource doc. I have a matte version and a glossy version. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do is white, raspberry, and then sea glass. So how I have them are staggered teardrops. That makes sense? So I'm gonna kind of make this white one just a little bit longer to match. Okay, staggered teardrops. And I'm gonna kind of just smush them together a little bit. And roll them out a little bit. Okay, and then same concept. We're gonna go through the machine. So this is what it looks like right now. We're gonna go through the machine vertically to keep that ombre effect pulling and not marbling. This is where we're at. I'm gonna fold, try to keep the colors in line with each other as best I can. Put it in seam side down where the lines are vertical. Continue to fold and monitor your color blend. Here's where we're at. Are you guys making along with me tonight? I know Merlene was making. Here's where we're at. Yes, girl. Do you guys want to hear a funny story that my daughter said yesterday? Because she's super creepy and kids are creepy in general. So here's where we're at. So we were driving and we passed by this like Penske like moving truck. Look at this, guys. And it was towing a car behind it. And my daughter's 3.5, and she goes, why is that truck pulling that car? And I said, oh, they're just towing it. They're taking it someplace. Well, where are the people? Are the people in it? And I said, no, they're not in the car right now. It's being towed. And she literally from the back seat, she goes, are they dead? No, you creep. They're not dead. They're just not in the car. It's not safe for them to be in the car. She goes, are they dead? Yeah. Uh-huh. Creep. And I stopped listening to my murder podcast out loud like at least a year ago. So girl, I don't know. I don't know. Are they dead? 3-year-olds, man. Continuing to go places. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, let me assess for a second. So what's happening is we're getting sea glass turning into raspberry, which creates purple. Raspberry turning into white, which creates pink. More color theory lessons tonight, right? Look at all the magic you can make with ombre. So I'm afraid that I might lose too much sea glass. So we're gonna, I'm gonna have to condition, but we're gonna test my theory. I've only done it like once before, but we're gonna test this. And I'm gonna add a small bit of sea glass to the butt of this piece to see if it will in fact give me more. And this is not sea glass. Oh, that's jade. If I have more sea glass, I'm going to do this. Here we go. Okay. So we're gonna try to add more sea glass to the butt of this ombre. Yes. Oh, thanks, Eliza. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut half of a brick, or like half of a stick, not half of a brick. Everyone, I feel like, calls their sections of clay different things. Okay, so here's what, if you don't have a roller, here's like what conditioning by hand would look like. So when I have a piece this small, I might just condition it by hand. And it's just literally like smushing and folding and smushing. And so I just wouldn't want to do this with a larger piece than this because it would hurt my hands because I have old lady hands. So I, and it just creates more air bubbles. Like I just had to pop one out of here. What the? So I just don't have time like that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is make a long strip. And add it to the end of this ombre. Okay, so I have my ombre. And I'm just gonna add on this sea glass to the end. And first I'm gonna put it all through so those kind of like blend together, still vertically. So now we have more sea glass on the butt. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm gonna fold it. And I might do the same by adding some white to the top. We'll just see how it keeps blending. So look, it's seamless. Look, friends, we just made more sea glass. How talented are we? Okay, so I'm just gonna keep, and then now I'm gonna like, this is when I'm gonna smush it again so it doesn't get all super, super skinny on me. Okay, smush, smush, smush. And they also sell like guides that you can put in here to prevent your slab from getting too wide. I just haven't done that. Look at this, friends. Look at that. How cool is that? Okay. that bubble. All right, let's keep going. So this is the part, I mean, where ombre does take a little bit of time because like you can't just like, I mean, you can speed through it once you know. Like my black and whites, I can kind of speed through because I know when to stop and what look I'm going for. But if you're trying a new color combination, it's a little bit of testing and looking. I got lucky mine came with it. Oh, nice. But they get too dirty and don't clean well. Oh, lame. It's like a positive and a negative. Well, they're sending me a new machine. Well, they're sending me the new this part because my rollers are being really, really weird right now. And they're not rolling well any past like a 4, like thicker than a 4. And I sent them a video and they were just like, we don't know what's wrong with it. So we're just going to send you that part. And so we're going to cross our fingers. But I think the one that they're sending me has it on it. So we will see. Okay. So I hope this shows you a little bit of like, you're just going to get an even more dynamic ombre like the more you use, because not only are you introducing a new color, but that color is going to make 2 new colors. Does that make sense? And so like you're wanting to think about every single element of this color story, because that's how colors work, right? And I think especially if you're doing more than a 2-tone ombre, which is like the simplest way to do this, if you're doing more than 2 tones, you're also going to want to think about what pieces are you going to be cutting, because like right now I can tell you there's not a piece in the world that I would use for my preference that's going to have all of these colors in it. So you just need to think about that when you go into it. But it could not matter, and you could do like something to the side. Like you don't have to do a vertical cut that keeps everything in perfect alignment. Like just mess around with it. But I honestly think ombre was one of the first things that I tried because I think it's a really cool technique that is not that intimidating. And if you mess up, like just roll it in a new color. It's totally fine. So I'm going to do one more fold and roll here. And we're going to see where we're at. Bubbles is where we're at. But okay, so here's where we're at. I'm going to show you the same kind of, so like if I were to use that same color, I'm not getting any of that teal, but I'm getting a really cool pink and raspberry ombre. If I'm going down here, I'm getting some cool tones over there. I could do a bigger piece if I wanted and like try to get as many as I could. So yeah, so that's a 3-tone. Mess with it. Pick different colors. Put them in a different order. Like this is where you also learning color theory comes into assistance, right? Where you're able to, let me move you on this side. Where you're able to begin to learn how color affects each other. Okay, that's a little bit better. So this is our multi-tone. This is our sea glass and white. So let me get this to the depth. It's almost there. To the depth that I like. And we're going to cut some pieces. Okay. Get out of here. Ugh. Clay is just, it's hot. It's summer. That's just everywhere. And then I drink wine up here and it makes me hot. All right. let's cut some pieces. All right, Jesus. Okay. Dry. Oh my goodness. I think I'm gonna do this shape. I have it in the mirror set. But just, you know, some other options. We could do a nice rainbow. That would be super lovely. Let's see. Let's drop the mic. Sorry, friends. Okay. I really like, oh, I also just really like this because I can then do the dangle components. With these, I would probably, ooh, could I get 2 pair? So if I did that, I could just do like a lighter pair. No, I still couldn't. But with this one, it's always annoying when you can get 3 out of a thing because who has just 3 ears? What does your oven sit on? Oh, here. It sits on a wooden shelf. And it does fine. My oven in particular does not get that hot. My old one did, and I still had it on the shelf and it was totally fine. I've also had it just on like a console table before, but this is just a wooden shelf from IKEA. This one in particular just does not get that hot. I'm gonna mute you, babe. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one just so I can show you all of the components that kind of go along with it. Where are, so I love these plungers. So these type of cutters are called plungers. They look like this. And they're really cool because you can literally plunge your design out the butt and it's so nice. So your clay doesn't get stuck. So we're gonna use that and then we're gonna use this. So I'm just recreating an old design I've already made before. It's called the Betty, if you've seen it before. I have it on me, I'll show you. So this is the design that we are gonna do with this ombre. So the little dangles, and then the piece, and then the component. Cool? Okay, so here's my slab. And I'm just going, since I know I can only get 2 components out of this little tiny piece, I'm just gonna pick the color areas that I like best. And that's generally how I approach slabs anyways. I know there are some people who are really good at making like practically their entire slab perfect, and they're able to use 99% of it for their designs. It's not like that for me all the time, and I don't stress about it. Like I pick a component based on the piece being exactly what I would want you guys to have, and not just to get more out of a slab, if that makes sense. And so whatever I use, whatever scraps I use from that, I'll either create studs or I will make a new color with it. I do not, the only clay I've thrown away is clay that I've like either baked improperly or, and haven't used for terrazzo, or have put like paint on, testing a new technique that just hasn't worked. So then you want, like, you really have to throw it away. But I've very rarely thrown away clay. So cleaned my cutter, and now I'm going to cut my pieces. So I'm just gonna get like, you know, kind of the best of both worlds. There's this line in here though. I'm gonna roll this through one more time. So I'm going to try to get rid of, there's a slight line that I see where the colors like were almost blending but not quite ready. Okay. So now I'm going to get, knowing that I'm going to do a white top and then sea glass bottoms, I'm going to try to fit like right in the middle of this ombre color. And so I just place my cutter where I want and I press and I kind of like wiggle, wiggle, wiggle just slightly and then lift off my cutter. My design stays on the glass. So I'm going to repeat that just slightly over here because there's like a weird blemish. But I'm going to do the same kind of colors showing through this main piece. Press down, wiggle, wiggle, lift off, and then I'm going to do my two top pieces as white. And then I'm going to do my 6 oval components as sea glass. So I'm just going to go around and pick good spots. Okay, so literally all my pieces are now cut out. I can peel away the rest of my slab. Just gonna set that to the side. And I would normally have like my tile or my pizza stone with my cardstock. So I'm just gonna bring that over here. Get all my shit out of the way. Okay. So now my pieces are on my glass. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna take my tissue blade, and I actually prefer a duller tissue blade for this, not a fresh sharp one. So don't get rid of your tissue blades. Okay, and I'm literally just going to like very barely. At this point, I try to only pick up the clay from the edges or the back because I want as little fingerprints not on the top as possible. So I just hold my top and I'm smoothing my edges. Like that, those cutters are heaven. And so like this piece is really great. So I know I'm gonna glue the backs on. I'm gonna bake and bond the backs of these. I'll show you that too. So I'm gonna put this puppy upside down. And my hands are hot, so. And I'm gonna try to make sure he's like as flat as possible because since I glue my backs on before I bake them, I can't put anything heavy on top of my earrings that are my post because the post is sticking out. And so I need to make sure that that piece is as flat as possible going into the oven because that is how it's going to come out. So at this point, if I felt like it needed it, I could pop these in the oven or in the fridge. I have a pattern cane in there I can show you guys that I made the other day that I haven't cut yet. And that would help firm them up as well. So I'm just going to put those there. This one wants to move around. Okay. We're going to leave those alone for now. Okay. So then I'm going to do the same thing for these, just kind of very gently, very gently. Okay. So this is the piece fresh off the glass. You can see that you can kind of see that there's shit around the edges. I don't want to have this sand. I don't like sanding. So I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to take my trusty X-Acto knife and I'm going to clean up these edges before I bake them. The more time and energy you spend before your clay gets baked and then therefore is pretty much permanently how it's going to be, you will love your life. You think that you're just going to pop it in and you'll deal with it later. You never want to deal with it later, ever, ever. So don't set yourself up for failure like that. Clean up your edges now and thank yourself later. So I'm just going to go around and also invest in good cutters. The shop where I got these cutters from, I will not name, but I do not recommend them. I have this exact shape coming from another manufacturer. It's just going to take forever for it to get here because these are garbage. Also, I'm buying in my own 3D printer, so I can make my own because my quality control seems to just be a lot higher than other people's. Okay, so I'm also going to cut the inside of this because sanding the inside of anything will make you want to gouge your eyeballs out. So if you guys can see, yes, this is going slower for me because I'm showing things to you and I'm talking to you, but this is literally every step I take for your earrings. Like for every pair of earrings that go out the door, it gets this treatment. And so this is kind of what I always come back to when, and I like, we're not going to talk about pricing a ton tonight because this isn't just a business insiders call, but like this to me is just what I remind all of you, if you are in business and you're charging or whatever, to remind yourself that you do this for your pieces when you go into pricing. It's never about how much the clay cost or the cutter or whatever. It's the time and attention and experience that you're putting into every single piece, literally every single piece. So do that. Oh, Merlene, yes. You just got a 3D printer and oh yeah. Okay, so here's what I did. I came to my husband and I said, listen, dude, I want to buy a 3D printer because I want to make my own cutters. I want them to like be my logo and branded and like all this stuff. And I was like, but I have zero capacity to learn about a new tool like that. I feel like someone was like, hey, do you remember how shitty Dell computers were? Yeah, let's take all the bad qualities of a Dell computer. And then remember how when we released Windows 7, like everyone hated it? Let's make it act like Windows 7. And then like, do you know how ugly Android phones are? Let's make it really ugly and give it stupid fucking names and then like never actually make it that technologically savvy and make the open source software super confusing for people, and let's charge thousands of dollars for these machines. And some guy was like, you know what, that sounds brilliant. And so that's my tangent about 3D printers. Oh yeah, so I told my husband, I was like, I want to do this, but you please have to be the person to figure it out. I will design everything. I will send you the sketches. Like, you don't have to be creative at all, but you're going to need to figure out the fucking calibration of the filament, of the heat plate, of the glass sensor. Oh my God, I like already want to poke my eyeballs out. So anyways, that's how I feel about 3D printers. I'm so excited to get mine. Did you get the Ender 3? Which one did you get? Yes. Okay, that's the one I was looking. The 3 Pro. Okay. Yeah, I was looking at them today again because I just need to make a decision. Okay, so that's how much time I spend on one component to make it smooth so I maybe don't have to fucking sand for 20 minutes when a piece comes out of the oven. Okay? Okay. So I'm going to do that again on this piece. And truthfully, I would probably put these in the fridge, which I mean is what I'm gonna do before I bake these, because I might as well bake them even if I'm just keeping them for myself. Okay. Just because it's so hot in here, you can easily clean up your pieces, do like a final cleanup when it's not like melting in your hands. Because I'm upstairs where our AC sucks and it's so cold downstairs. So cold. If our basement had windows, my studio would be in the basement because it is an ice box down there. Because it's underground. But I physically am incapable of being in a room without windows. So, yeah. Marlene, I had a meltdown yesterday just trying to put in the damn filament. Yes, that would be me. Well, we can start an Ender 3 Pro support group, and we can help each other figure it out. So once I get it, okay, I'll just order the same one. I'll order it tonight, and we can help each other out because my husband is persistent. He will figure it out, and his brain just works in ways that mine does not. He's a math person, and I just feel like maybe this is gonna need math. I feel like so. We'll get each other set up. So are you gonna sell cutters? It's on sale. Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw that today. Are you gonna sell cutters, Marlene, or are you just making them for yourself? This is like a whole other tangent I want to go on. Not sure yet. Yeah. Maybe once you figure it out and you can decide if it's easy or not. So what I haven't decided is if I'm going to sell them, because I haven't decided either. If I'm gonna just like make an entirely new business, or like an Etsy shop. I don't know. You know what I mean? Because so many of us go to Etsy for our cutters that I feel like there's already such a banging audience over there. But I also have feelings about Etsy. Yeah, you want to do clay full time so that may help supplement. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we're gonna slice off these pieces. And we're going to smooth. These are easier to smooth. You just can kind of do them with your hands. Just don't touch the tops, friends. Leave the tops alone. Okay. Top. Oh, what if I just like gave these earrings away? What if the earrings I make whenever I do like tutorials for you guys? What if we had like a contest or something? That would be cool. What should I have you guys do to win some earrings? Because I just don't think I would wear these. It's so hard not to touch. It's so hard not to touch the tops. It's so hard. But you can always, baby wipe the top, alcohol swab the top. Like there's things you can do to get rid of the fingerprints. I am just a prevention type of person. Like what can I do to just prevent me having to correct mistakes? And I'm going to do that. So that is just who I am. Okay, I know this is boring. I'm so sorry. This is not super fucking entertaining. But I'll show you how I do the backs in a second. Because as you guys know, I learned how to adhere my backs from Emily of Shop 31 Sons inside her Patreon. And I didn't feel comfortable sharing the method because I learned it from her. I knew that she didn't invent the method necessarily, but like she has talked about many times, this is such a learning curve, this piece in particular, how to adhere backs, that so many makers have kept it to themselves for so long. And like, okay, fine, whatever. And so since I learned it from someone else, I did not feel comfortable sharing it, but she decided just this week to make the knowledge public. And so literally the lesson, oh my God, get off my finger. Heat. The lesson inside her Patreon on how to do it is public. So like you can still go learn it from her. So I feel comfortable sharing it with you guys tonight. Because I don't want to step on anyone's toes, okay? I don't like confrontation. All right. These are the pieces that came out of that oval, and I have tried in the past to bake these and save them and like use them as dangles. They're just not thick enough. They're not wide enough to like drill a hole into and whatever. Do you No. So no, I do not use finger condoms because my hands and fingers are obscenely small, and finger condoms make me wrinkle my clay because the condom is like baggy on my fingers. And so I found that it was too much work. Like it would still crease my clay. And so I was having to still smooth stuff out, and my fingers got really sweaty. And so I don't like them. So that's that. Okay. Here's how we do backs. Moving on. Okay, so let me go get to post. Okay, I keep my post in containers like this. I can't remember where I got these. I'm sure from Michael's, but the top just screws off. I use two sizes. I have a 6 millimeter and a 10. This is either 10. This is 10. I could actually confirm. Let me actually tell you the truth. This is 10, and this one is 6. I was right. I use 6 and 10. I fluctuate between which ones I use. Some of my backs are just a bigger post, and so when I used the sandwich method where I would bake the post in between 2 layers of clay, I liked having a larger post because I would use E6000, put this on raw clay, put a piece of raw clay over it, smooth the edges, and make it perfect. And I found a bigger surface would hold better. Now that I don't use that method, the 6 millimeter is really a great size. And once I go through these big 10 millimeters, I will probably order 4 millimeters and use 4 and 6, because what I'm finding is that on some of my smaller studs, I'm needing a 4. So like I just made these Montserrat studs, these little resin babies, and the 6 you can see like barely, but you can see through like the leaves. And so I think a 4 would be better. Yes. Okay, what are you saying, Cindy? Okay, so glad it's getting out there, because on every live for bigger Australian makers, they only use glue, and they also kind of keep it hush-hush what they use. Oh, wait, what's that measure thinking? Okay, yes. So here's my beef on that. Like they're flat out lying. Like they are 100% flat out lying, and it's fine. Like what the fuck ever. But they're lying. And that's what I said in the very first live, where I said, if you reach out to any maker and they say they're using E6000 on their post and they've been in business for longer than a year, they're literally lying to you. And so I just don't like this. I have never been a oh my God, keeper of secrets ever. If you guys know me from Boss Project, you guys know, like as soon as I learn something, I turn it around and shout it from the rooftops. That's just who I am as a person. This particular method, like I said, I learned it from someone else who I paid to learn. And so I didn't, that's the only reason why I didn't feel comfortable. But finally she made it public and I was like, thank the Lord, baby Jesus. I no longer have to like be weird about it. So yeah, I'm super excited. Okay, this is from Fire Mountain. I order all of my jump rings and post and stuff like that from Fire Mountain, and this just came free with one of my orders. So I don't know like how to necessarily order it, but it has this circle measurement here. It goes from 2 to 16 millimeter circles. And here's some thickness ones as well for wire thickness, but like for gauges. And then it gives you a standard to metric measurement on here. It's really, really handy. They've sent me like 2 or 3 of those. Yes, Fire Mountain does have good videos. Okay, digital caliper. Yeah, mine was, yep. Not as good as Jammies with you. Hi. Okay. Let's adhere some post. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we have raw clay and we have Bacon Bond. This is just Sculpey Bacon Bond. I still only use white, or it's technically, I guess it's white. I mean, it's no color. It's not translucent and it's not white. It's literally just oven bake clay adhesive. All that it is. So I put it on raw clay. Some people put it on baked clay. You just have to find your jam. Like do what you like. So I do a dollop, like just smidge. And then I close it and leave it here and let it spill all over my desk. And then I take my post and I put it on that dollop and I kind of just like very gently, to not distort the shape, kind of smoosh it into the clay. I would normally be doing like 50 of these at a time. So it would give itself some more time. So we're just going to chat for a little bit because I want it to like kind of stick a little bit. It's like very wiggly. So there's that. Okay, let me read some of your comments. I need the hookup for the brass pieces. Just started using some that I got as a gift and I've been missing out. Makes the piece. Yeah, okay, I'll give you my source. What's the name? Here it is. I just ordered some more. Let me see. Full disclosure, it's from China. So just, some people have their things about that, but you make your own choices in life. Let's see if the shop name is on here, or I can look at it. It's on Etsy. Don't care. Yeah. Okay. Are they going to say? No. Literally no. Oh, maybe on a sticker in here. Oh, I forgot what I ordered. Oh, my Lanta, open up. Okay. So I made these using some brass elements that I had ordered, and I fucking love them. Like, I asked my daughter what this looked like to her because I like when she names my pieces, because I hate naming pieces. And she called this, she what did she say? Oh, it looks like a dream catcher. How adorable is that? She said it looked like a dream catcher. So these are dream catchers. They're stunning and I love them. They're amazing and I love these dangles. And so I ordered more of these because I'm going to be bringing this style back in like all of the variations. I did a watercolor one as well. I'm obsessed with it. Yes. Oh, great. Okay. So I ordered some. We're just going to open some mail. We're going to do an unboxing. So I ordered like a shit ton more of those dangles because I really, really, really liked that style and I want to make a bunch of those. And then I ordered 2 other kinds of things. So I ordered these. They already have a hole right here. So I'm thinking where's my... So I have a shape that I call the GG, and it's literally just this shape with a round top. But how cool would it be to like incorporate, you know, like do an upside down GG and a brass element like layered on top? I think that would be so cool. So I'm gonna try that. And then I got this piece. Do I have any? Oh, I still can't show you because people would be doing replays. I was gonna show you something from my mystery box, but okay, so then I got this one, and it has 4 holes in it already. So I'm imagining, you know, I'm imagining a top. And then like these pieces here, like are gonna have to be relatively small, but I'm just like imagining, I don't know yet. It's gonna be a really small, but like one of these pieces could fit here. You know what I mean? I think it could be really cool. Yeah. So I'm just gonna mess with it. Sometimes brass pieces overwhelm me because just the options are kind of endless and you have to like, I don't know, think about stuff in a different way. But let me look up my phone right now and tell you what shop it is. Because they're hella cheap. And brass, okay, so I've been wearing my piece all week. I'm going to continue to wear them to see how they wear. Brass does, like, it will tarnish. Like, it's cheap brass. It's going to tarnish. But it's such an easy fix that I'm just including that in my care cards because you can just like literally wipe it down and it will fix it. Okay, so the shop is called Dream Bead Story. Dream Bead Story. It's overwhelming. Yeah, a polishing cloth. Yep. There's a lot in this shop. Dream Bead Story. But it's great. So give it a go. Give it a try and see. Okay, I'm gonna get these out of the way so I don't drop them. Okay, so this is set for a little bit. So now, let me see where you can see this the best. Okay, I'm gonna open up our clay. We're gonna finish this off. So your goal here is to completely cover the post part of your post with Bacon Bond. I like to go all the way to the edge with my Bacon Bond to create a nice clean look. It's entirely up to you. I drizzle some on here and then I push it to the edges, much like if you have ever worked with resin. It's kind of the same concept. You want to make sure there's enough on there, but not too much. Okay, close that. And then I have my handy dandy rubber silicone tipped angled brush. And I literally just pull the Bacon Bond very gently to the edges. You can drill through Bacon Bond, so don't stress about that. You can wipe it off the edges before it's baked. So if you like accidentally spill it over to the edge, you can clean it up. So I'm just pulling it gently to the edges. And that's it. So now these components are ready to bake. I would put them on my pizza stone. These pieces would go on their own tile. So they would go on cardstock on a tile, and there would just be like a bunch of them. And then all of my components would go on cardstock with copy paper on top on a pizza stone. And then I put, oh, sorry, it's called Dream. I'll type it in here. Dream Bead Story. I'll type it. one word. Okay, so I put my components on cardstock, put that on a pizza stone, put copy paper on top, and then I put a piece of tempered glass or a tile on top of that. Bake that in the oven. Okay, my oven thermometer doesn't come until tomorrow night. Will the pieces from last night and the pieces from tonight be okay? Yes, 100%. There has been many of times where I have been at this stage with many components and just did not want to stay up for an hour. And so what I would do, gosh dang it, is cover your pieces with copy paper and let them sit. And the copy paper might be a little bit greasy in the morning. Totally fine. Literally totally fine. Or whenever you're ready to bake. And then just pop them in the oven. I wouldn't leave them for more than, a couple days. So I now bake mine face up because I put I put heavy stuff on top of it, like a piece of glass or a tile. I used to bake upside down because the theory is if there are bubbles in your clay, they're going to raise to the surface. And so if your pieces are upside down, they raise to the back. I honestly think I could do either way now because of the pressure. The pressure is equal, if that makes sense. But I bake face up now because I put stuff on top to weigh it down. I just cut out a slab that I made almost 2 months ago before I had cutters. They were saran wrapped, but they came out awesome and they bend like a motherfucker. Yes, you did. Yeah. Oh, do you guys want to see the pattern cane that I made? I haven't even cut it. So let's see what this looks like. Let me go to my fridge. Hold, please. Okay, so I just wanted to try something new. So this might be like the most hideous thing we've ever seen in our lives. But I have an extruder and my extruder has different shapes. And I've only ever tried the round shape, like the circle. And so I tried the triangle shape the other day and like put together a bunch of clays that were scrap. This it hasn't been cut yet, so this is the butt. The butt of a cane always looks bad. So we're gonna cut this. We're gonna use my Lucy slicer. Okay, so I own the cheaper. I should watch my fingers. I own the cheaper version of the Lucy slicer. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. I've heard really great things about the more expensive one. I just wasn't ready yet. First of all, I had to assemble it. It's like particle board. I had to assemble it. Yeah, I need to watch my fingers. There's a safety on here. It's just not on. Okay. I have two things that I hate about it. One, I have to let me turn the safety on first. Hold please. Okay, safety's on. I'm not going to be going to the emergency room tonight. One of the things that I don't like about it is I have to hand crank this table to pull. Am I even going the right way? Yeah, I was. To pull the table back. So this takes 75 years. Yeah, that's why I'm like, the other one is like $100 more and it has this same mechanism. So you just crank and you 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 crank. And here's the annoying part, when it's all the way cranked forward, there's still like a gap where you have about this much left of your cane that you can't cut like with this machine because then it doesn't fit. I mean, I have stuck stuff behind it to like push it forward, but I don't feel like I should have to hack something that cost me over $100. Like that's just me. It might be weird. I'm still spinning, guys. Don't worry. I have to switch hands. Yes. 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 Okay, so let's see how much space. Oh my god, you guys. So how was your weekend? Like, good? Was it good? I just took the scrapped holy pieces, folded them carefully, then twisted, then sliced, then stuck the pieces together, and gently smushed the edges together, and then ran through the pasta machine. Yes! Can you show us? Are you on camera? This is what happens, guys. You just fuck around. Okay, let me see. Eliza's gonna show us. I'm on the edge of my seat as I'm just twisting and twisting. Oh, my hand is cramping. Okay, let's see where we're at. I'm gonna shove my face in the camera. Oh my god. I can't wait until you bake those. I can't hear you, but I can't wait until those. Oh, yes. 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 Love. So that's what I'm talking about, you guys. You guys just have to, you know, you mess around and you see stuff. Okay, we're going to slice this bitch and see what happens. Everyone, pray for me. Okay, so I just sliced off the butt. Okay. The trick is going to be when we put this through the roller. So here's what we're working with. So this is the butt. You see how ugly the butt is? And this is like the cane. So like two completely different stories. Okay, so here's the stupid shit. I just spent all of that time unwinding the board, and here's what I have to do. So now my cane is shorter because I just cut a piece. So I have to lift the blade, and guess what? I have to spin it forward now. And guess what? I don't know how far forward 3 millimeters is because there's no fucking measurements on this goddamn machine. And so I just have to eyeball it, which you guys know my eyeballs. This is just, yes. Yeah, it's my idea of a nope. The blade is just really sharp though, and it does provide really clean cuts, and you doing it by hand is sometimes really annoying. So it's just, okay. So I'm gonna cut, see, I think I just cut too thin. I hate everything. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of like smush this together, and I'm just gonna roll this through the machine, and we're gonna see. So the thing with paint, with canes and with patterns, is that it's very rare that you're able to slice it where it's like a perfect 3 millimeters and you don't have to do anything. So I want to show you 3 different variations. Okay, so I'm going to cut off 3 different sizes and I'm going to roll them 3 different ways. We're just going to experiment tonight. Okay, let me roll. Just mind your own business for a second so I can push my thing forward. Okay, we're going to cut. And then I'm going to do it one more time. Okay. Actually, I'm going to do one more too. I'm going to do like a... Okay. Here's what we're going to do, guys. Okay. Scraps, get out of here. Well, I don't know if you're scraps yet. I just don't know what I'm doing with you yet. Okay. Hi. Oh, Merlene. Thank God, because I tried to give as many trigger warnings as I could to people who join. I just... So one of my daughter's favorite, you guys, one of my daughter's favorite phrases, because kids listen to everything you say, um, is that when something is happening that she doesn't like, and so we'll say, you know, tough, whatever. Apparently, what she's used to hearing us say, because she finishes the sentence, is that if we get aggravated about something and we're like frustrated, we're like, oh, and she goes, tough titty, mama. My 3.5-year-old says tough titty. It's just where we are in life. I think that's the definition of 2020, and it's fine. Okay, here we are. We're going to do a couple of different options. We're going to roll our pattern. What I was saying is when you have a pattern and you have a cane, it's very rare where you're going to be able to slice consistent slices that are like perfect depth that you need them, where you don't have to do any rolling whatsoever, and you can just cut your component and it's going to be great. For fuck's sake. Yeah. When they use it properly, you can't hate on that. And so chances are you're going to have to, sorry, hair in my mouth. Oh, my daughter's hair. It's literally everywhere. You're going to have to roll out your clay in some capacity to have a consistent depth, right? And rolling your patterns is going to distort it in some way, shape, or form. It's just what happens. It's going to make your shapes bigger, wider, smushier, right? Oh, well, we have been on for an hour and 40 minutes. So when did you put them in the oven? Okay. Yeah. So they've been in for like 40 minutes. You're fine. You're good. It's good. It's fine. I do that literally all the time. Okay. So we're going to do a couple of different techniques to the same pattern to see the different distortion levels to see what do we like. Okay. So the patterns that we're going to scientifically method test right here tonight are using depth guides and a roller. And we're going to use our pasta machine. And then we're also going to cut a thin layer and put it on a back. And then roll that out. Okay, you with me? Okay, so first up, we're going to do the pasta machine. So we have our clay. And I'm just going to, there's a little bit like some holes in it just because the shapes, maybe I didn't compress them enough. So I'm going to kind of compress this piece a little bit. And this piece is not that thick. It is it's about 5 millimeters thick. So not terribly thicker than what we eventually want it to be, which is around 3. Okay. I'm going to put this in the machine and we're going to see what it does. Okay. Whoop. Okay. Here we go. So this was before, and this is after. So we see we have some distortion because it's going to happen. You can't avoid that. But groovy. Yeah, it's groovy. It's very groovy. Okay, so we have that. That was our roller method, our machine method. Okay, so now we're going to do our depth guides. And in order to do this, we're going to put our clay in between our 3 millimeter depth guides. And we're going to take our acrylic roller. And the guides just help you. Oh, I should have smushed it a little bit together first, because I have a little bit of gaps. So we need to do that first. And this piece just also wasn't that big. If it's thicker, it's going to distort more. That's how shapes work. Okay. So this was on the depth guide. This is the closest to before so far. Before, depth guide. Oh, Merlene's coming hot with tricks. So here's a trick I use for my slicer. I use my 3mm depth guide to create indents on the top. Yep. It's, you know, we have smart brains in here. Okay, so here's the pasta roller. Here's using depth guides. Pasta roller, depth guides. Okay. Okay, so lastly, we're going to do it on a slab. So I just have scrap clay sitting right here. So I'm just gonna get some white and do it literally on any color that you want. And actually, let's see. Would that be like hideous? Yeah, that would be hideous. Would this be hideous? This is what I do. I'm just trying to decide if I want it. I think we'll just do white. It's fine. We'll just do white. Okay. So we have our chunk of white, and I have just like my little baby sliver, like I did like a sliver. And first you drop it. Make sure there's no fucking hair on it. Oh, I think my husband might be home. We'll see. Okay, and then I'm just gonna lay it on the clay. So what we do, and what I'm gonna do, is cut like a tiny sliver again. Because with this concept, you just add multiple slivers. Get out of here. And you can do it with like some space in between or not. So now that this is here, like this would honestly be fine. They're so thin that they're not going to separate. I literally, just for insurance, I'm just going to do it like a once over. Literally, it probably did nothing. Okay. Okay, so here's the results of our experiments, and then we're going to cut out shapes. Tiny slivers on a slab. Slither rolled with a depth guide. Thicker sliver, not tiny slivers. Thicker sliver rolled in the pasta machine. Okay. So now let's cut out shapes and see what they look like. And if you put your cane in the freezer before slicing, yes, this came right out of the fridge, and it's been in the fridge for like a week. Super, super firm. I literally have a mini fridge in my guest bedroom for that. Okay. So we're gonna obviously have to do something small. So let's just do this shape. Let's see, is this even small enough? No. Let's do, let's do some rainbows. Is it gonna? Just barely. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're going to just cut out. Look at me putting my fingerprints all on it. I'm gonna cut out the same shape in the 3 different patterns. Okay, so this one was the depth guide. This one, I'm just gonna clean up the inside here. Tools are multi-purposeful. These are dotting tools, but I use them to clean up the inside of arches all the time. Okay. Okay, Okay, these are kind of fun. So this was the depth guide. So the perhaps the least distortion from our original pattern, those little baby rainbow studs. Okay. Let's do the same thing with our pasta machine. I think I like this one the best. I'm just gonna, because looking at it here in this shape is like almost terrazzo, like kind of like a terrazzo effect. Just because like it made the shapes a little bit wider. And I don't know, I feel like that just provides such a different look and experience with this pattern. Okay, so here is the machine rolled clay, again next to the depth guide. Depth guide, machine rolled. The pic you posted of the female earrings. You got those fucking female earrings. Clearly, there's room for all of us. Okay, I'm gonna stop being a bitch about stuff. All right, so this one, I don't know, maybe this one, are we gonna do a little bit more abstract because we have the white background? We can. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Oh, friends. So I just want this to show you guys. And I said this in the watercolor video. This is my thing, apparently. Do you see how just little tiny different decisions can make a design so unique from what you thought it could be, from what you've created before, from what's in front of you, whatever. This is why I just like do not ever get concerned with like how many people are doing polymer clay or markets. I don't believe market saturation is a thing. I truly don't. Because in my own fucking studio, I was able to create these 3 different designs. White slab, so very, very thin slice. 3mm roller depth guides. Pasta machine. This was from scrap clay, guys. So, you know, this might not be something where I'm like, okay, I'm not a huge fan of this color story, or like, I do really like it with white. Because I'm just a muted. Oh my God, my wine lips, you guys. Sorry. This is who I am as a person. Ever since becoming a mother, my tolerance. It's fine. I didn't even give birth to her, and like, here I am. Like, ever since I became a mom. It's fine. Sleep deprivation will do that to you. So what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is mess around, make what you think is a mistake. Just fuck around in your studio for a second. I truly don't believe like you can't waste clay. You can make a new color from it. You can use it as a base of a slab. You can use it as a tone in a leopard. You can use it as a tone in a stripe. You could use it as a wraparound for a cane. And I'll show you what all of those things mean this month when we're going to delve into more patterns. Yes, Cindy says room for everyone. Most people today want to buy from a person who they follow and they love and resonate with. People are moving away from shopping at big box. Yeah, 100%. It's happening. And I've always said it's never been about earrings, right? It's never been just about earrings. It is about earrings a little bit. Earrings and clay and buying something for ourselves makes us feel good, right? But who you patron is not about the earrings. It's not. It's about the person. And it's about how they make you feel. And it's about what they stand for and what they don't stand for. What they kneel for. That's what I'm saying. Um, right? And you get to choose. You get to choose. So I think it's really special. I think it's so fucking special that you can sit at a desk and something from your brain, from a picture, from a book, from a movie, from a painting, from an outfit, from a blanket. My inspiration comes from fucking sheets, like textiles, fabrics, guys. Um, this I have cramps really bad all the time. I have endometriosis, and my body wants to die every single month. And so I have a plethora of corn bag collections that I heat up in the microwave and just like stick on my body in all of the places. And this is one recently that my Nana made for me. It's like a floral, no, yeah, it's like a leafy tie-dye fabric. How gorgeous are these colors? They're so gorgeous. And so, hi, Merlene. Oh my God. Yeah. Eliza says it does fucking suck. It fucking sucks. Hi, Indo Queens. Where are you? Jesus Christ. Uh-huh. Yeah. It's literally why I couldn't get pregnant. So funny. It's great. It's great. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes. I'm laughing because like this has been my reality also, and I've never been the person that's just like, oh, this is just a me problem, but it is always so amazing to me how small of a world this really is. And when we start talking about the issues that we deal with, the things that go on in our lives, how there's so many women in the room who are like, oh yeah, samesies. um Hi, Cindy. Yeah, welcome. Welcome. It's the club I never want you to be a part of. Yes, hi. Mm-hmm. Hi, friends. Infertility can fucking suck a dick because I hate it. I hate it. I literally hate it. Okay, I wanted to finish Eliza's thing. I realized today it's something I can do how I like it. Not designing for a client, which I also do, but for me, and I sell it. People can like it or not. Hi, yes, that's why I started this whole thing. Because this was something finally for me where I could get out what was in my brain onto clay. and and then people liked it. They happened to like it, right? Um, and that felt really good. And I feel like in so many seasons that women go through, I'm not going to cry, where we feel so out of control. And some for good reasons, right? You feel out of control when you work with clients, and clients are a blessing and they're amazing. I love them. You feel out of control when you do have a toddler running around and you're trying to figure out parenting. You feel out of control when a pandemic is happening. You feel out of control when schools are closing. You feel out of control when you get laid off. Like there's so many seasons for us. um our health, right, where it feels out of control, where you can have surgery to remove the scar tissue but then it fucking comes back. um and and something about this, and the medium doesn't matter, but it's working and creating with your hands that matters. And it's this that enables you to take out what's floating in your brain, what's keeping you up at night, what's waking you up in the morning, and getting it out into some medium. I think is so fulfilling. It's so fulfilling. And I think it does more for each of us than we even realize that we're ever going to realize, right? So I'm so proud of you all for doing it. Yeah, hi. Hi. Okay, hi. um And that's why I've always shared that this has always served me more than shipping out earrings and making sales. That part is obviously fucking fun. I get high off of that. It feels really good, and it's funding our second adoption, right? Like, hi, thank you, literally every single one of you, for buying my next child for me. So it obviously serves those purposes. I'm not ever going to sweep that under a rug, and doing something for money is also not bad, so don't do that either. But I think it's magical when you're able to find a space that can serve you in so many ways. And if one of those ways is your soul, then I'm really fucking here for that. Like, really. Yes, people are allowed to make money and able to find something they love to make money. 100,000%, $100,000. I agree with that. I'm gonna start supporting things in dollars. And yeah, you're allowed to get paid doing what you love. You're allowed to get paid doing what you're good at. You're allowed to take your time to get good at something. You're allowed to experiment and perfect your craft and change your craft and tweak your craft. You're allowed to do all of those things. Take up that space. Fucking own that. You're allowed to have wine lips. Right? Well, that took a detour, as per usual. um, so I think that's a good, yeah, I think that's a good wrapping point. Um, we have officially been on for like 2 hours. There's clay on the back of my phone. I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here. I truly hope that, if anything, the community in and of itself can inspire you to keep trying, maybe when you feel tired and when you're in those weird funks, because we all get them, right? And if you ever need to be steered back into the path of creating, I'm your person. I want to see even your garbage work, all of it, literally all of it. I'm here for it. If you made something tonight while we were Zooming, can you please take a picture of it and tag me on Instagram? Like, literally. Bye, Merlene. Thank you so much for being here. We're hopping off, so you're not going to miss anything. But take a picture of what you made and tag me, please, so I can share you in all of the places. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I'll pop up this replay here. Yes, please go to bed. I'll pop up the replay here in the morning. Okay. I love you guys. Good night.